Hey team, today we're going to talk about leadership with Mr. Kraig Ware. We're here in the Eagle Training Center at Williamsburg Christian Academy, where Kraig is the athletic director. Kraig grew up in Texas. He graduated from Arkansas State University, where he played defensive end on the football team. Once he graduated, he entered the corporate world, and he worked in the corporate world. He's been an entrepreneur. He's coached all the way up through his time working. Kraig has a wonderful wife. I know his wife, Lynn. I've met her. You way out-kicked your punt coverage on that one. We all know that. Right. And they've got 3 boys. Yeah. They've got Shelton, Ashton, and Easton. They're all teenagers, so that's a whole nother side of leadership that we can get into.
That's right.
So, Kraig, you're involved with parents and students every day, and you have students that want to be successful academically, in music, and in athletics. What would be one of the top 1 or 2 tips you would give to parents as an athletic director to help their kids be successful and grow as leaders?
I think there's a progression of development for a student. So if that student is in elementary school versus middle school versus high school versus college or a young adult, your transition points are going to be different. But I think the ultimate goal for any parent, whether they're in athletics or whether they're in the arts or whether it's academics or all 3, the beautiful thing is you got to cut the cord. You got to slowly but surely acclimate them to life. So the worst thing in the world you can do is do everything for your son or daughter, right, and then ship them off to college, and they have to figure
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Right. So maybe it's packing their lunch, maybe it's doing their laundry, maybe it's walking the dog, maybe it's taking out the trash. But slowly but surely start to transition the rigor of life to that student.
Yeah,
that student athlete.
That's great, and that's something that's hard for parents. We love our kids. We want to do everything for them, especially our generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we got to let them go and find opportunities for them to step out on their own,
right,
even when they're young. And athletics is so key for that, because you can't be out on the floor with that young person. That's a great one. Now let's flip the script and talk about the students. What would be your number 1 tip to the students of WCA or any students out there watching this to how to grow as a leader and develop?
I remember being in high school and middle school, and I thought I knew it all, and I didn't.
You remember that long ago?
It wasn't long. It didn't feel like it was long ago, but I think it was. So I think as a student, if I could give them a word of encouragement, something to look for, every single thing that they do is opening or closing the door.
Right.
Whether it's academics, whether it's athletics, whether it's behavior, whether it's community work, every single thing that they do, it's almost like they have a pen in their hand and they don't realize that they're writing their book. So they need to be really careful with the choices that they make, because it never goes away, especially in today's world of social media.
That's right.
So it never goes away. I can't tell you in the corporate world, in the entrepreneurship world, how many people I didn't hire because of what I saw.
It's all out there.
It's all out there. Nothing's private anymore. So I would encourage them to do their best, and realize that if you're a small fish or a big fish in a small pond, that there's a million more like you.
Yeah.
So make sure you can do everything you can do to get that cutting edge for your career and for your family one day.
It's great. And then I always like to close the interview and just kind of give you the floor, give you the last word. What is your number 1 leadership tip, or something that Kraig Ware you always catch yourself saying to the students here at WCA or to your own children? What's your number 1 leadership tip?
Well, I think it's going to come down to focus, and it's not of what I usually give out. It's actually self-reflection. I think anyone can do anything, but the key is you can't do everything. So you got to pick that 1 or 2 things, and maybe prioritize that timeline. And what's most important to you, what's most important to your family, what's most important to your organization, and then begin to build that leadership team around those principles. And slowly but surely that becomes a culture that at first, you may have to push it. You may have to make some changes strategically in the people that do it. But ultimately that becomes a sustainable driving force, and that vision is sought after every day without effort. At first, it's a lot of effort, but I think most leaders make the mistake because they go in and they want to change the entire dynamic of the organization that they're in, and it's just not possible. If you do, you're probably going to burn your people out. You're probably going to not have the resources personally or financially to actually spend the time with your leaders like you need to guide them through the points and through those priorities that you set.
Good, yeah. Prioritization, vital in any business, in the Army.
Focus.
Entrepreneur. Yeah. So those are powerful words from Mr. Kraig Ware, who's down here in the trenches every day. He's with our young future leaders, our young Americans, and with their parents. So Kraig, thanks for what you do for our kids every day, and thanks for being on Lopez on Leadership.
Thank you. Yes, sir.